Hi, I'm Kesenya and welcome to Guiding Star Astrology. I'm your Astro Weather Girl, here with this week's Astro Weather Report. I'm going to show you how the stars are going to affect your life this week. To get the most out of this video, listen to the intro so that you know what's going to affect you and when it's going to happen in the week ahead. Lastly, use the timestamps in the description to go to your rising sign, sun sign and moon sign in order to learn how things will affect you personally. I'd like to point out that this will be a general read. We're looking at the general influence of the stars upon our life. If you would like to know something more specific about your life and how the stars are specifically interacting with you, I would suggest getting a reading with a professional astrologer. You can do so with me through the link in the description below if you would like. I'd like to give a special welcome to anyone who is new to astrology. You're so welcome here at this channel. If you would like to learn to read your own astrology chart, I offer a short course. It's very cheap and it's lots of fun. The link is in the description below. To all of my friends who join me here each week, who like and share my videos and subscribe to my channel, I do love you. To my gold and silver and bronze star family members, I do pray for you every day. I thank the universe for your presence in my life. If anyone would like to join the Guiding Star family, the link is also in the description below. And now to this week's spotlight. You've caught me! Are you wondering when love will come into your life? Did you know that it takes at least 3 energy triggers to bring love into a person's life? And that there are 62 different triggers for bringing love into your life? If you're an aspiring astrologer, this is something you need to know, as the number one question astrologers get asked is, when is love coming into my life? Why not join me for my course in finding out when love will come? Find it out for yourself, find it out for your clients. Let's learn together when the stars will align for love. The link to my astrology course is in the description below. And remember, every one of us deserves to know love. So before we begin today, I'd just like to give a big shout out and a kiss to everyone who will be joining me at the wellness retreat at the end of this week in Echuca, Victoria, Australia. I can't wait to be there with you and teach you all about astrology together. Lots of fun, so looking forward to that. Now, as for the astrological weather, the key dates this week, or the dates that have the most auspicious moon effect, are going to be on the 29th, the 30th, the 31st, 1st, 2nd and 3rd. The days that you don't want to initiate something new are basically the 4th or the 5th. Now, of course, this doesn't take into consideration when the moon is void of course. I'd suggest getting an app if you would like to know about void of course moon and govern your life by those decisions. Check that out online. There are plenty of apps that you can get that tell you when the moon goes void of course. But generally speaking, they are the best days to initiate something new as long as you don't do so under a void of course moon. We also have this week some interesting action with the out of bounds planets, which have been quite strong all through the month of May. Now, that's rare that we have a lot of planets going out of bounds all at once. So any child born within this month is going to carry those in their natal chart, and that has certain distinct effects on a person's life that can be quite exceptional in many ways, and also there can be a bit of a roller coaster in others. But this week we have Venus out of bounds all week long. So the areas governed by Venus in your life, wherever Taurus falls in whole sign astrology and wherever Libra falls in whole sign astrology, you might find things are a little bit unpredictable, a bit of a wild card, a bit unexpected for you. And we also have Mercury and the Moon being out of bounds, but this is only occurring on the 29th and 30th of this month. So then they go back into normal bounds. And bounds is within the declination of the Tropic of Cancer and the Tropic of Capricorn projected onto the sky. So I'm not going to go into a great deal of astronomical explanation with that, but basically within roughly 23 degrees south and 23 degrees north, if a planet is within those zones, it's in sort of normal range where we can predict its behavior a bit more easily. Once it moves beyond that, which happens on occasion, as it's done throughout the month of May, then we have a lot more trouble reining it in, so to speak, because it's out of the usual ordinary realm that we are used to as astrologers. So Mercury and the Moon, what do they govern in your chart? Those influences, Mercury governs Virgo and also Gemini, and the Moon governs Cancer. Those are the influences or the realms of life or the zones of life that are going to be under the influence of an out of bounds Moon and Mercury on the 30th, 29th and 30th, where you might feel a bit more out of control emotionally, or that you're a bit more receptive to what's going on in the world in some way, or sensitized perhaps to what's going on in the world in those zones of your chart. So you need to know your chart, but if you do, then you can utilize this out of bounds information to help you navigate this week better. Now, right from the get-go this week, we have a conjunction of the Sun with the north node of the Moon, and that's happening up here in Gemini. So I'll put a little dot there to indicate a conjunction. And this is the time when we can really develop our ego. Now, a lot of spiritual movements will decry the ego and say, oh, you know, everything is egoic and you want to leave the ego behind. But if we did not have ego, if we did not have the desire to look after ourselves and to show up in the world and contribute and be of value and shine our light, our humanity crossed with our divinity to the world, we'd be puddles. We'd be nothing. We would be not human. It is human to have ego. It's when ego goes out of bounds, out of control, gets too strong and governs our choices and our decisions in life, where it's all about me, all about what I need and what I want, and other people can go to hell, then that is when ego is a dirty word. What we really want is a healthy ego. And here, when the Sun is conjunct with the north node of the Moon, well, we're going to have ego issues coming up to be addressed. So for some people who are naturally egoic and too much, it's going to sort of overblow that a bit more, because Rahu, the north node, is desirous. It wants more of, give me more, give me more, give me more ego. And if you're already an egoic person, well, it could be quite yucky. If you're in like a workspace or a family environment or something with somebody who has an overblown ego, just watch out on the 1st of June. It could be a little bit hairy for you. But for those of us who carry a good dose of humility alongside our ego, then this is going to be an interesting day as we look to fulfill our egoic needs, what our ego needs in life to feel satisfied. And we want to do that in a healthy manner. We're going to be hungry to fulfill our egoic needs in a healthy manner, let's hope. So what might this look like? Well, some people might choose to break free of an energy-sucking entanglement that they've been involved in. We all know what that's like, to be with an egoic person who is sucking our ego out of us, and our life force and our energy. Under this energy of North Node, our destiny, our purpose, our future, with the Sun, we might say, enough already, I'm going to satisfy my ego's needs to be autonomous. The Sun is autonomous. To be standing on my own 2 feet and to not have to give myself away for your glory or your betterment or whatever. If we're in that kind of a dynamic in a workspace, in a relationship, whatever that looks like, you might actually be able to break free of that entanglement under this energy. Simply because your desire for your egoic needs finally rises to the surface and you can let go of that codependency. Other people might find that this is a wonderful opportunity to put their stamp on the world, to let their creativity shine, to take whatever steps are necessary to put themselves out there in some way. So that could be in many, displayed in many ways. Maybe you decide to undertake a course of study, or maybe you want to launch your YouTube video, or, in millions of different ways that you can put your stamp on the world and allow yourself to shine. Well, today you'll be inspired to do so and hungry, in fact, to do so. So this is an annual transit. The North Node and the Sun get together once a year. And that's when we have the eclipses, when the sun is within proximity of either the south node or the north node. So we have eclipses every year and they're caused by this. But it's also a transit of promise. And it generates in us a vision, an ideal, and momentum and vitality for our future. So pay attention to your dreams, pay attention to where your energy is going on the 1st of June. And if you want to check out what time it's occurring in your part of the world, look in the description below. But our energy and momentum are going to be big indicators of where we are to put our efforts into for the coming 6 months to a year in order to shine in the world and to fulfill those ego needs that we have. Now, also on the 1st of June, it's going to be quite an interesting day this week. We've got a Mars making trine, not a Mars, the planet Mars making a trine to Neptune. Here they are. Mars is in the sign of Cancer, Neptune is in Pisces, and they will be aspecting one another to the exact degree on the 1st of June. Well, this is when action meets intuition in a way that is supported by the universe. Because of this harmonious connection, we can actually start to take strides forward in the right direction for us. So exciting, especially coming on the same day as the Sun conjunct with the North Node. There are many ways that this combination of such an ethereal planet with an action-oriented planet can exhibit in the world, but because it's occurring in watery signs that are connected to our feelings, we might be wearing our heart on our sleeve right now. It might be very obvious to the world how we're feeling, what we're going through, but in a positive sense. Generally, our upbeat happiness or our joy or delight in the beauty of the world or the wonder of nature or the love for the stars or whatever really shines from our being. It's out there for the world to see. Also, our compassion can be transmuted into action. Now, what do we feel empathetic towards, compassionate about, moved at our core? Well, we'll put that into action. You know, we might see somebody suffering because they've lived through some sort of mudslide or something like that. And we're like, you know what? I'm going to start a fundraiser and raise some money to help those people who've lived through that landslide or that mudslide or whatever the circumstance is. But our compassion is turned into action rather than just feeling sorry for others or empathizing with others. We actually turn it into something useful, a great energy for that. The other way that this can manifest is that we might start solving problems in a much kinder, more benevolent way. You know, instead of just getting in there like a bull at a gate, we're more gentle about our approaches to problem solving, and we're more considerate of other people in our problem solving approaches, and we can maybe negotiate a little better because of this energy. So it's actually quite lovely. So these energies are a little bit, they're not opposite energies by any stretch, but they are not your usual complementary energies either. Mars wants to go, go, go. It's action, action, action. It's now, now, now. Boom, boom, boom. Neptune is infiltrating like a fog. It's gentle. It's subtle. So you can see they're quite different in their expression. But they're doing this beautiful tango together with such a harmonious interaction today. So we're bringing these two very unusual energies together. It's going to be a very interesting day. And we will tend to move through our life's activities with a much more gentle approach because of this, a softer approach to things. You know, if we're arguing with someone, it'll be done in a much more soft, gentle, empathetic manner. The pace of our life takes a bit of a back seat as well. We're not so rush, rush, rush. We're much more, it'll happen. I'm gonna do what I need to do, and I just need to trust the divine will allow things to unfold. And there's much more flow with this, which is really nice, and much more gentle, released pace, get my words out, of life. In fact, patience is a big thing on this day. Now, Mars isn't usually renowned for patience, but when in trine to Neptune, we can actively wait. Maybe we've got to wait at the doctor's surgery. So we decide instead of getting frustrated and irritated, we might actually put that waiting time to good use and read a bit more of our novel or send a couple of emails on our phone instead of jumping up and down because I want to get in right now. We find that waiting and patience becomes more than a virtue, but a way of life. And finally, with this energy, it is a beautiful energy to make the most of if you want to do some activity that's quite flowing. So dancing, if you're a dancer, you're going to love this day. Your dance movements will be far more strong, you're just more flowing, in tune with the spirit of the music. You'll find that if you're a painter, you'll be able to sort of get out there and paint, and it will all come together beautifully. Any activity that you do that is of an ethereal Neptunian nature, like dancing, like painting, like writing music or singing, goes very, very well. But also, swimming, sailing, these kinds of physical endeavors that involve the ocean can be very enjoyable and bring you a lot of pleasure on this day, because on the 1st of June, because the energy of Neptune, which rules the oceans, combines with Mars to do activity, to be energetic, complementing one another. So go for that swim, go for that sail, do your surfing, whatever it is, with the ocean, with art, with mysticism. Use your body, involve yourself in activity, and it will just be a wonderful day. Then on the 4th of June, again, I just remind people to check the description box below for when it will be occurring in your part of the world. But the 4th of June, according to Melbourne time, Australia, we have another trine, so a good week for trines. And this time it's happening between the Sun and, boom, Saturn, a trine from Gemini to Aquarius. If you're looking for a day this month to feel most grounded, most solid and strong within yourself, today is the day, or the 4th of June is the day. It's a day for making progress towards our goals in a steady, solid manner, one foot after the other, planning ahead, making sure we dot our I's, cross our T's, getting all the details sorted. Saturn is details, it likes to make sure. But with our goals and dreams and aspirations, we've really got this steady, solid pace and long-term strategy working for us now. You can be more productive towards your goals and dreams. And you can have a really great rapport with people in authority, because both Saturn and the Sun represent authority figures. This is the king and this is the prime minister in astrological terminology. So people in places of authority, like bosses, leaders in your community and so on, you can have a really good rapport with them. And maybe if you need to approach a leader for something, it's a great day to do that. If you need to get permission for something from a government organization, if you need to go before the king in any way, shape or form, then this is a good day to do it. Saturn is also older people as well, and both these planets are masculine planets. So if you need to approach an older person, if you need to approach a predominant male in your life, this is also an energy to do that under. Now, ordinarily it would be a terrific day to restructure any business plans that you have, but don't take any action yet. Restructure, plan, organize, envision, but don't take action, because remember, Mercury is currently retrograding. He's going to hold up the action that needs to be taken until at least the 3rd week of June. So use this energy for good by strategizing and planning and setting some structures up that you want to implement once Mercury goes direct. So this goes for business plans, but it also, you might like to apply it to any home renovation plans as well, because Saturn is to build. If you're planning on building a house as well, this might apply. Any routines that support your health and vitality, you might like to restructure, reorganize, replan, because the Sun is our vitality and health. So you've got the green light to reorganize those things and to make some plans for the future. Use this energy for that. And you could actually begin those endeavors under this energy, because those things are not so much connected to Mercury and its retrograde. Mercury is more business and trade, communications and contracts. But if you've already set up your contract to have your house built, then there's nothing to stop you actually beginning work, particularly under this energy on the 4th, when you have a lovely trine between the planet of building, which is Saturn, and the Sun. The other thing is that whatever we set in place under this energy could manifest very fruitfully for us in the coming months, because remember, Saturn is a long-range energy. He is not the sprinter, he is long-term into the future. So if you instigate, say, a building project or some sort of new health or vitality routine that you want to implement, it could have really good effects for you in the long term because of Saturn's longevity connecting with the sun under this energy. So could be very, very good. Now, also on the 4th of June, and so tying into this upbeat energy, is a beautiful trine, the trine that we all really, really love actually, between Venus and Jupiter. So let me draw that here. Venus and Jupiter. Now, by this stage, and I should point this out, Venus will have entered into the 1st degrees of Cancer, which I haven't got on there. So I hope that hasn't confused people. So it's between Venus in Cancer in the early degrees to Jupiter in Pisces in the early degrees. Boom, we have another trine on the 4th of June. And what a happy little combo this one is. You can expect to feel a little lighter, a little happier, more buoyant under this energy. So what a beautiful combination to be having with Sun, Saturn as well. We can feel a bit luckier as well because these are two benefic planets and Jupiter is the planet of luck. And the ability to grow our heart's desire, Venus is our heart's desire, can come a little easier today because Jupiter makes things flow in an easier way, especially with a trine. A trine carries the energy of Jupiter, benevolence that lands in our lap without us even having to try. And there it is. So we love this transit. So new opportunities can come to us with very little effort. And this is basically it's a response to our inner energies. The trine between Venus and Jupiter is going to create optimism, feeling upbeat, feeling happy, feeling joyful in our soul. And that then exhibits as within, so without in our external experiences. What we undertake in the world is happier, we see more opportunities, where ordinarily if we were in a sort of a lower state of being, we might miss those opportunities, but they seem to flourish more and abound more because our state of being is more receptive to them, more open to them, and there they are. Now, if you're in need of financial support, it could be that on the 4th of June, something comes your way to help you. You know, you might get a slight pay rise, or someone might, send you a birthday card with $20 inside or something. You might get something that comes your way that helps you financially because both these planets are planets of finances, making a healthy aspect to one another. And some people might receive a gift or a beautiful compliment that really uplifts your soul. This is the kind of energy that we get, those sort of lovely, surprising and beautiful things happening to us. Somebody comes up to us with a bunch of flowers, or our partner comes home with a beautiful meal that is picked up on the way home and we don't have to cook tonight. And that's always a gift in my books. Or maybe, you're in the, I'm going old school here, you're in the record store, the albums, and looking through all the albums, and you see something that your husband would absolutely love. So you think, I'm going to get that for him, just out of the blue. And it's that sort of inspirational energy towards how can I be loving and kind to other people that I care about. That's the energy of Jupiter-Venus. It is a really good energy for relationships as well. Venus rules relationships, and our partners can really contribute to our upbeat frame of mind, regardless of whether they bring us flowers or a new album or something like that. They just contribute by being maybe more joyful, by being present in our lives. And there's a great deal more love felt between couples under Jupiter-Venus energy. Any new people you meet on this day are going to tend to be a lot wiser than perhaps people you would usually encounter. Potentially more successful types of people as well, because when these two combine, then any new acquaintances, Venus, that you meet tend to carry the nature of Jupiter-Venus. And because we're going to have Sun, Saturn on the same day, they might also be you might be interacting more in a friendly way with authority figures as well. So starting anything that, of course, has nothing to do with Mercury, contracts, communications, buying, selling, trading, buying new tech and that kind of thing. Steer clear of that still. Mercury's in retrograde. But if you start something new, maybe, you start a new beauty routine, or you get a brand new nail color for your fingernails, or you might find that you undertake some sort of new course online or something like that of higher learning. Doing these Jupiterian and Venusian things, starting something in those fields today is so supported and so blessed. You will generate a lot of blessing for your future because of this. And I would encourage you, in order to use this energy to its best advantage in your life, do something that makes you feel good. Whether that's going and getting that new nail color on your nails, or soaking in the bath with a great novel for an hour in the evening, or whatever makes you feel lovely, beautiful, happy. Jupiter is joy, and do it. take this opportunity to really feel into the glorious energy the universe is giving us to enjoy. Well, let's take a peek now at one of the energies that is transpiring this week. Mars trine Neptune. This is happening on the 1st of June, the first day of the new month. And we're going to see how that is playing out for all signs. So let's begin with Cancer, where Mars is falling. Now, because Mars is the slower moving energy, Mars is the faster moving energy, Neptune is the slower moving energy, we're going to notice the impact more in the house of Mars. And in this case, it is to do with the first house. This is where action will meet compassion on the 1st of June. You will take action in a compassionate way to look after yourself, to survive and thrive in the world, Cancer people, Cancer rising, sun or moon. So if there's something you need to do to look after your survival in the world, you'll be able to do it with ease. Maybe you will need to do something for your body. Set up a new, sign up at a new gym or something, and it'll just come more easily and you'll feel more, good about it. You'll be able to take the initiative you need to look after your body in whatever way, shape or form that manifests. You'll do it with a lot of compassion for yourself, not like we might otherwise do. Oh, look at me, I'm getting so fat and I feel so disgusting and frumpy. Oh, I'm going to go join the gym. It's nothing like that. It is an energy that says, I love myself. I love my body. I am compassionate for the journey of my physical self. I'm going to go and sign up at the gym and take care of my body. So your action comes with compassion to do with the self on this day. So whatever you do, first day of June, that is about supporting your body and its journey, giving yourself the love you need, helping yourself to thrive and survive and show up well in the world, to shine your light in the world. You will do so with a lot of compassion rather than self-criticism or frustration or anger at the self. Now it comes with this beautiful Neptunian energy inspiring you to take those actions now. Compromise is also easy. If there's something that you have to compromise on, Cancer people, that's going on in your life where you have to sort of maybe take a step back or rethink something or allow someone to sort of take a piece of the pie, so to speak, and you have to make a compromise, then it's easier to do for you on this day. You will have what it takes to sort of maybe, like I said, take a step back or allow them that piece of pie that they want. And you can compromise much more easily without aggression, without a fight, and you will be the one to instigate compromise. This is the house of your own instigation. So you can actually be the one to sort of create a compromise or negotiate some kind of a compromise. Mars isn't usually known for its negotiating abilities. It wants its way, it wants to win, but with Neptune making a trine, you are going to be able to compromise a lot easier than you usually would. Moving right along, let's look at Gemini, where all the action is falling at the moment with the eclipse and so on. So here is Gemini. And because of Gemini rising, sun or moon, that means Mars is falling in the second house, Cancer, and this is where action will meet compromise for you this week. You might take, not compromise, compassion. So you might take action financially to support your body. Remember, the second house is supporting the physical self, the physical incarnation, and supporting your ability to thrive and survive. Mars, second house, how can we take action to do that? Well, you're going to take action with compassion to support your body's journey. So, you might have been living, let's say, in an environment that was not very conducive to your health and well-being. Well, with Mars getting a hit from Neptune, you might suddenly feel compassionate towards yourself and say, you know what, we need to live in a house that isn't riddled with mold. Let's move. Or let's do some renovations. And you can take action to support your body's journey through compassion. Not through frustration, not through anger, not through, oh, I'm sick of this and blah, blah, blah. It's like, you know what? We deserve to live in a better place. We deserve to live in a house that supports our body and its journey. We deserve to have nicer food instead of eating crappy, cheap takeaway all the time. We deserve to actually eat quality food that supports our body. You can take action now to support your body's journey, and you'll do so because of a sense of compassion for your journey rather than annoyance, frustration, or anger. So I love this energy. It's going to really help you to make some wiser choices in life that support you. Compromise is also easy as well with this. So if you need to compromise on a financial situation, if you need to sort of meet somebody halfway with finances or a financial agreement or some sort of arrangement, if you need to meet someone halfway in order to create more security and stability in your life, which is a second house thing, you will actually have what it takes to do so. You know, the Mars in Cancer is quite all right actually, but when Mars is on its own, it can get very fired up, and there's no compromising with Mars. It wants to win. It is the energy of the winner. Here in Cancer, with a trine from Neptune, it's much more like, okay, well, how can we create a win-win situation that works for everybody? And it's going to have to do in the second house with your stability and security. How can you create a win-win situation that's actually going to give you more stability and security, instead of sort of saying, I want it for me and I'm going to have the security and stability and you can get stuffed. No, now it's like, well, how can I create security and stability for me in a way that is compassionate and compromising for you to enjoy security and stability as well? So if you're in that kind of a scenario, just know that you're going to be able to compromise easily in a win-win kind of way, which I think is really wonderful. All right, Taurus rising, sun or moon people, the energy of Mars trining Neptune on the 1st of June is happening in the 3rd house. And because Mars is the faster moving planet, that's where we notice the impact from that slow moving planet, Neptune, second slowest moving planet out there. So it's in 3rd house realms where action meets compassion. So you might, I don't know, get a phone call from a sibling saying, look, I'm really struggling at the moment, and you know, my husband's in the hospital and I have to be with him and I can't take my children to school and blah, blah, blah. That's a scenario. And your compassionate heart, Neptune, says, let me help you. How can I, assist you? Maybe, do you want me to run the kids to school? Do you want the kids to stay with me for the week while you deal with your husband in hospital? You take action in a compassionate way to support a sibling, which is a 3rd house thing. You can also have compassionate action regarding a small business that you run. Maybe you've been struggling and beating your head against a brick wall trying to get things off the ground and think, maybe where can you show yourself some compassion? Where can you take some compassionate action? Maybe, you've been trying to do the social media, you've been trying to set up the website and get it all together and it's just not gelling. Maybe compassionate action for yourself with your small business might be to ask somebody who is proficient in social media or website development to do it for you. To take that action, that's a compromise too, and this is an energy of easy compromise. Well, maybe it's an easy compromise to let a professional handle something in your small business for you. So action meets compassion regarding a small business, regarding siblings or relatives, teammates as well, and group activities like workshops and that sort of thing. You can actually join a workshop and do it for compassionate reasons. You might like to sort of do an astrology workshop and to teach people how to love themselves more, and that's an act of compassion, isn't it? You're running a workshop that wants to empathize with people and help people understand themselves better. There's action meeting compassion right there. And also, this is an energy of easy compromise. So if you're in a bit of a difficult situation with a relative or a sibling, a teammate, somebody that you are collaborating with on, say, a workshop or a project or something like that, then your ability to compromise is made easier and their ability to compromise with you is made easier. So you can actually reach some really worthwhile resolutions with other people under this energy. So if you need to resolve something, if you need to negotiate something or mediate something, do it today, because on the 1st of June, because the energy is going to be supportive for you. Aries rising, sun or moon people. The energy of Mars, the faster moving planet out of this trine from Mars to Neptune, is falling in the 4th house. So that's where we're looking. Now, this is on the 1st of June. And so it's here in the 4th house where action is going to meet compassion. You might have an ancestor like your mum or a great aunt or something like that who needs help. Maybe your great aunt is stuck at home in her house and she's got a dicky leg or something like that, and so you offered her, I'm going to go mow her lawn, but she can't do it anymore. Action meets compassion with and with our ancestral line, the maternal line, the nurturing line. So we're looking at sort of direct ancestry here. Maybe you might need to develop a bit of compassion for yourself in a sense as well, because after all, this is squaring your first house. But compassion for yourself in terms of your domestic environment. Maybe you have been, running around like a headless chook, as we say, trying to manage your domestic world, your domestic environment. And Mars trine to Neptune says, let's be a bit compassionate. Maybe we need to hire a cleaner. Maybe you need to get some help and some assistance. Let's take action to get you the support you need, because we're compassionate for ourselves in our domestic life. We want to enjoy our domestic life, not find it a burden or a chore. So we take action out of compassion for our journey. That's one way this could manifest also. You might have a bit of compassion on yourself if you've been living in a pretty dodgy kind of environment. Maybe your home has a few issues. Maybe there's a leaky downpipe, or maybe you've, Neptune energy here. You might find that there's some water issue or mold problem or something in your house. Well, you can take action to rectify that. Neptune, when it's transiting the 4th house, can bring those sorts of issues into our home. But Neptune trine Mars means if we've got those issues in our home, we take action to fix them. We will do what needs to be done. We will ring the right plumber or the right mold removal agency and get those problems dealt with. We will take action over Neptunian issues in the home and out of compassion for our journey. Who wants to live in a home that makes us sick with mold or leaky water or downpipes or a blocked toilet or something? We take action out of compassion for ourselves and our domestic life. Compromise is also easy under this Mars-Neptune trine, and that means that if you have a situation with a family member, be it a child, a spouse, a parent, you're going to be able to resolve conflicts easily. So if you do need to approach someone to mediate, to negotiate, someone of that ilk, your family members, then do it under this energy and the results will be delightful for all parties involved. Usually Mars wants to win. It's the energy of the winner. But when it is making a trine to Neptune, it's much more prone to creating a win-win situation for everybody, where everyone ends up walking away with a smile on their face. So do your family negotiations and mediations on the 1st of June and you won't be sorry. Pisces rising, sun or moon people, Mars is in your 5th house. And because Mars is the faster moving planet, this is where we're going to notice the influence of Mars trine Neptune on the 1st of June. And it's in the 5th house where action can meet compassion. Of course, this is a house of children. And if you have children, then you can take action coming from a place of compassion for the sake of your children. Maybe your child might need some sort of support. So you're like, I'm going to be there for you. I'm going to help you. We're in this together. And you take action to support your child because you have compassion for your child. And hopefully we're all in that situation where we have compassion for our children. But I do realize that sometimes, especially when we get adult children and what have you, there can be some animosity sometimes, as we're all very different energies here manifesting on Earth. And so maybe there is a need to compromise and meet your child halfway on something, because this is also an energy of easy compromise. Ordinarily, Mars wants to win. It wants to come first. But when it is trining Neptune, especially when it's in a lovely gentle sign like Cancer, the energy of compromise is just really good. So if you need to approach an estranged child or an estranged parent and try and resolve some issue, this is the day. Even if you're in like my situation, I've got teenagers and maybe we both need to sort of give a little because, hey, you can't keep doing X, Y, Z and I can't keep cleaning up after you or whatever, and we need to reach a compromise. Well, this is the day to take some action regarding that. Not only to talk about it, but to say, okay, well, look, you need to clean up your room, or you need to pick up and you're washing and do it yourself or whatever. And reaching a compromise where it's good for mum or dad and good for the kids is easier to obtain, because all people involved will be wanting to, not to please other people, but to create that win-win situation. So it's excellent for any negotiations and mediations with children, but also with lovers. This is the house of dating, pleasure like romance and that sort of thing. And so compromising with lovers, boyfriends, girlfriends is really good. If you need to approach any topic, this is the day. Action meets compassion also regarding your ability to enjoy yourself. This is a house of joy and having fun. It's entertainment and creative expression. Now, I've I'll use myself as an illustration because obviously I'm Pisces rising, but I often deny myself pleasure because of our circumstances in life where, I can't go to that concert, I have to look after the kids, or there's not enough money in the bank or whatever. But under this energy, you may find that you're feeling more compassionate towards your ability to participate in joyous activities. And you might say, you know what? I think I could scratch up enough money to go to XYZ concert. So I'm going to take action. I'm going to have compassion on myself and my life journey, and compassion that says, hey, you know what? I need to have fun sometimes. I need to play sometimes. I'm going to take action to do that. Now, I've given an illustration of needing money to do that, but it doesn't have to have anything to do with money. Maybe your idea of joy is just having a day where you get out the sewing machine. That's another idea of joy for me. And you just create. This is creative expression, fifth house. And so maybe you need to take action, and your sewing machine's been, gathering dust and cobwebs for 18 months, and you're like, you know what? I'm going to take action. I'm going to be creative on this day, fifth house, and I'm going to get out my machine, which is a Mars thing, and Mars rules machines, and sew. And you have compassion for your journey and the ability to have joy in your journey. And so you allow yourself, or you take action for yourself, to have more joy on this day, which is wonderful. So Pisces people, you stand to have so much fun because of this energy and be so blessed because of this energy. If you're a Pisces rising sun or moon person, what action do you need to take out of compassion for your own journey to be able to experience more joy? A walk in the sunshine, ice cream at the lake, a bike ride through the mountains. What action do you need to take that's going to bring you more joy, more pleasure, more delight into your life? Well, it's going to come on this day for you, because you will be feeling compassionate about your journey and the ability to have joy in it. Aquarius rising sun or moon people, the energy of Mars trine to Neptune is going to be felt for you in the 6th house. And this is where action is going to meet compassion. This is actually a very important house, because action and compassion do very well in 6th house themes. Because what is 6th house? It's where we burn our karma. And we burn our karma from past lives through serving the world. Let's face it, there's a lot of people out there in the world, particularly in capitalist Western societies, who are not interested in burning their karma. They're interested in getting as much as they can and stomping all over as many people as they can in this lifetime to get what they want. I don't like their karmic situation, if that's the way they're behaving. But here in the 6th house, where we can burn our karma through serving, through helping, through fixing, through healing, there is almost no better energy than Mars trine Neptune in the 6th house. You've got to love it, because it's going to give you the desire, the impetus, the momentum to take action, to serve, to help, to heal for compassionate reasons. My neighbour's in debt. You know what? They're struggling to put food on the table. I'm having them over for a barbecue. There's an act of service. Action meets compassion in the 6th house of service. I feel really sorry for everybody in hospital. You know what? I'm going to go and take some flowers out of my garden and just give them to everybody in the cancer ward at the hospital. Action meets compassion for people in a difficult situation with disease. 6th house is disease. Action meets compassion regarding children who have less education or opportunities for education. And so you take action. Maybe you go and buy a ton of books and donate them to the school library. Whatever you are inspired to do of a compassionate nature, listen to that inspiration. Neptune is inspiration. It will be sending vibes your way. Don't ignore it. Take action on that today, on the 1st of June, because that is a wonderful way to burn your karma. Action meets compassion, and you've got the best momentum in the world with this trine to see that happen. Now, compromise is also easier when we have Mars trine Neptune in the 6th house. Mars does very well in the 6th house. Mars is the energy of winning over enemies. Bravo, wonderful. If you have to go to court, you want to have Mars in your 6th house, either by transit or preferably natally, which means you will win over your court cases and enemies. But when Mars is making a trine to Neptune, it gives you the ability to compromise and meet a win-win solution, to negotiate, to mediate with your enemies. So if you're in a court case, you might be able to settle out of court on the 1st of June with this energy playing out, which would be a great solution, because who wants to be dragged through court and go through that trauma and upset? This could be very, very wonderful. Compromising, perhaps like with an enemy at work, a co-worker who is, driving you up the wall. Maybe you could actually broach a topic with them about the topic of your frustration with them and reach a compromise and reach an understanding that sets you in good stead for working with that person in the future. Compromise comes easier under this energy, not just for you, but for everyone you deal with, because it's a universal energy on this day of Mars trine Neptune, where we're going to feel like compromising. We're going to want to meet the middle ground and not sort of stomp all over others. So make the most of that energy and sort out issues with your enemies and any problems that you've got. You can sort them out, compromise on those issues and reach a good solution that brings a win-win to everybody. Bonus. Okay, Capricorn rising, sun or moon people. Well, the energy of Mars, the slower moving planet out of Mars and Neptune, is the energy of Mars trine Neptune is being felt in your 7th house, and this is where action will meet compassion for you. A wonderful combination, there's these two. And you're going to be able to be compassionate towards other people, not just spouse, not just partners, but other people. This is us, 1st house. This is everybody else over here. Everyone else who is significant in our lives. And so you will be able to take compassionate action to support other people on this day, the 1st of June. Now, this is also the house of the public and the way we interact with the public. So what does that then mean? It means that we're going to be able to take compassionate action for the benefit of the public out there. Now, if we're in a position where we're dealing with the public, let's use my astrology business as an example. The way I deal with my audience, my clients, that's seen from the 7th house. And I may, on this day, if I was a Capricorn person, sun, rising or moon sign, then I might be able to take action to benefit my clients, my audience, from a compassionate place in my heart. Maybe I notice that somebody is struggling to understand astrology in the comment section on my videos, and I'm like, you know what, I want to give all my viewers a 20% discount on my How to Read Your Own Astrology Chart so that you can comprehend and understand better. Here, from a place of compassion, because I've seen that you're struggling, here is a discount for my clients, my audience, 7th house. That's an illustration. I haven't got 20% off at the moment, so do keep an eye out on my spotlights each week for what's on special, what's on discount, and where the bargains are. So this is happening in an angular house, which makes it very important, and it's likely to be felt more by people who are experiencing this on angular signs, and that's you, Capricorn. So this is where you might really be inspired to take some compassionate action to connect with a business partner, to create a better scenario or relationship with your marriage partner. Action coming from a place of compassion, like you might notice, look, my wife, I know she's been really struggling with her ill health lately, and she's trying to deal with the kids and run the home, and I see that she's really struggling. I have compassion for my wife. I'm going to take action, and while she's sick, I want to hire a house cleaner or a cook to give her a hand. Where can you take action for your spouse? You'll be inspired to do so, and it will be a blessing to you and your spouse or your business partner or others in some way. We're really looking at how we can be compassionate to other people with this energy. It's also an energy of compromise, and easy compromise. Mars usually wants to win. Now, Mars transiting through the 7th house is generally, it's like, well, where can I win over my partner? Where can I be the victor? Mars natally in the 7th house can be a bit hairy that way. But by transit and trine to Neptune, compromise comes easy, negotiations come easy, mediations come easy. So if you have to approach a topic with a partner that's been bothering you for a while, do it under this energy, and you will find the resolution comes without much hassle, without much argy-bargy or fights or anything. You can reach easy resolutions and easy win-win compromises with business partners, with spouses, with your audience, with your clients, through utilizing this beautiful, benevolent Neptune trine Mars energy on the 1st of June. Moving along, Sagittarius rising, sun or moon people, the energy of Mars making a trine to Neptune is falling in your 8th house. And Mars being the faster moving planet is where we're going to notice the impact more. Well, action can meet compassion regarding our sexuality, lo and behold. You know, if you're dealing with some sort of hidden sexual repression or a sexual desire, maybe a sexual orientation that you've been keeping a secret or something, this is a house of secrets after all, Mars trine Neptune might see you actually have a bit of compassion on yourself and do something to support you in your sexual journey, provided, like, we don't want to see anything perverted or sort of predatory going on. That's not what we're talking about. It's much more of the gentle compassion for your sexual journey, your sexuality, and your sexual expression. And you might take compassionate action to honor your sexual self on this day. That might be, it could be as simple as approaching your intimate partner and, you know, speaking up and saying, hey, I like this in the bedroom. Would you be willing? And you might find that, you know, action, a compassion rather, for your sexual desire or whatever, by taking action on that you're surprised with a wonderful experience that you could have, or a beautiful result that comes out of this. So taking action because you're compassionate towards yourself and your sexual orientation in the house of sex can be a really good thing. Now, this is not just the house of sex, but I've just given you that illustration. It's a house of death and rebirth. It's a house of regeneration and transformation. So what action do you need to take to transform yourself? Maybe having compassion on your inner child is something that you need to walk the road of, and then take action for that. Maybe you need to speak to your little self, little Kesenya, or little whoever it happens to be. And maybe you need to speak to that little self. This is a psychological technique. Speak to your inner self with compassion. Take action towards that person that you are and see what the resolution is. And that might transform you. By doing deep psychological work, 8th house, we actually can transform. We can sort of rebirth ourselves. And Mars here with a trine to Neptune is saying, let's do the deep work. Let's take action to work on that deep psychological stuff. Neptune actually is quite a psychological planet. And so the influence of Neptune by trine makes it easy for us to do that deep psychological work and maybe bring up some old hurts and wounds and transmute them, transform them, heal them, and let them go. This is a house of transformation after all. So I would encourage anyone who's having this transit, any Sagittarius rising sun or moon, do your inner child work, do your psychological work, do your past life work, whatever you need to do, some journaling, some talking with a friend, meeting with a spiritual, mystical group or something to sort of try and shine a light into the dark corners of the psyche. Take action, do those things. You will not regret it under this energy on this day, because it will transform things, heal things, and rebirth things in an easy way because of this beautiful trine. I love it. Now, compromise is also easy on this day. Usually Mars wants to win, it wants to come out in front, but when there's a trine to Neptune, Mars goes, you know what? Let's just compromise. Let's make sure we're both happy. So in this house, which is a house of divorce, it's also a house where we might be dealing with legacies or wills. Taxation is also another thing, other people's money. We might need to make a compromise with the tax collector, with the lawyers responsible for great-grandma's will. And so we meet with them, we mediate, we negotiate, and we reach a solution and a compromise regarding great-grandma's will, regarding our tax situation for the year ahead. So if you're dealing with other people's money, and the reason why tax comes under that banner is because that's money owed by the government. Owed to, rather, the government, let's say. So it comes under an 8th house banner. So where do you need to compromise regarding other people's money or a will or a legacy? And why not negotiate and mediate to try and reach a win-win situation under this energy on the 1st of June? All right. Scorpio rising sun or moon people. While Mars, the faster moving planet out of Mars trine Neptune, is falling in the 9th house. So this is where we're going to notice this energy most of all. And this is the house of expanding the soul, the heart, and the mind. And so you will be able to take action out of a compassionate perspective on life and on the world that has to do with growing your heart, your soul, your mind. Maybe you've been feeling stuck, Scorpio people, and you've been feeling in a rut in some way. Mars trine Neptune can give you this compassion for your situation of feeling stuck and say, let's take action. We want to grow our heart and soul and mind and not stay in this stagnant situation. So you might decide you're going to do a trek up a mountainside on the weekend, a big hike. That's taking action because you're compassionate for your situation of feeling stuck in the world. So you do some exercise, you do some action, you do some endeavor that expands your heart and soul and mind. Let's face it, going for a big hike up a mountain really, expands our perspective and our connection to spirit and connection between body, soul, and spirit. So, anything that does that, it could be learning something new. It could be taking an adventure. It could be immersing yourself in a new culture. You will have the compassionate impetus to take action and do those things because you want to change your situation. You want to bring newness and light into your life. Compassion for the self, compassion for your journey results in you taking action to expand your heart and soul and mind in this house. You may also do so with your children. Do some sort of expansive endeavor with your children because Neptune making this trine is coming from the house of children or with a lover. So you could go hiking with your boyfriend or your girlfriend and together you have this soul expanding experience on the 1st of June. Action meets compassion. But you might also find that you have compassion for other cultures on this day. This is the house of foreign cultures or international cultures. And so maybe you've heard about the suffering in India with the terrible COVID outbreak, and you might decide, you know what, I have so much compassion for those people. I'm going to raise some money for more medical supplies, and I'm going to take action, compassionate action for international situations. That could also manifest for you on this day. You might also have compassion for people who are not able to access education. You might be inspired, a house of inspiration, to take action to allow someone to maybe do one of Kesenya's astrology courses. They haven't been able to afford it, but they really want to. And so you come along and you say, look here, let me do that for you. Let me be a benefactor. Let me be an inspirational figure in your life. This is the 9th house, gurus, inspirational figures and benefactors. Let me be one of those in your life by taking action because I am compassionate for your circumstances of disadvantage in life. So another way that can play out, quite a few ways that this lovely energy can play out. And it is a lovely energy. It's also an energy of compromise. And so you might be in a position where you, instead of trying to win over some lecturer or philosopher or person with a different belief than you decide you're going to compromise. You're going to say, look, let's let bygones be bygones. You can think what you think, I'll think what I think. Let's just be easy with this. Compromise flows with Neptune trine to Mars instead of having to win. And win-win situations for everyone are the result. Regarding beliefs, regarding ethics, regarding morals, and just regarding your connection with people who you find inspiring. So look for ways to reach complementary conclusions in your life, especially regarding beliefs, because that's obviously a bit of a hairy one that we sometimes encounter. Okay, Libra rising, sun or moon people, the energy of Mars, the faster moving planet, not slower, faster moving planet out of Neptune here, trine Mars, is falling in the 10th house. And this is where we're going to notice the energy of Neptune trine Mars most strongly this week. This is the house of how we need to present ourselves in order to succeed in life. And of course, with Mars here, we might, for the duration of Mars transiting Cancer, be presenting ourselves in a very aggressive way. You know, Mars in Cancer is not an aggressive energy, but Mars in the 10th house can be aggressive. And look, to be honest, Mars does quite well in the 10th house. It gives us the action and the energy to accomplish things out in the world. But how we need to present ourselves in order to succeed, we're going to be very gung-ho about it with Mars in the 10th house. We'll be a go-getter. We'll be putting ourselves out there. Let's take a risk. Let's be seen. But when Mars trines Neptune, it means that we're going to actually include a lot more compassion in what we do to present ourselves in the world in order to succeed. So we might take compassionate action in order to succeed in the world. How might that look? What's an illustration? At work, we might decide that we want to start a charity, and encourage our boss. Maybe we meet with our boss to start a charity work, or not maybe start a charity, maybe support a charity. And so our compassionate heart takes action in the place of career and out there in the world amongst our others, amongst our peers. So we perhaps encourage the support of a charity, or we act charitable in our workplace, and that gets seen and that gets noticed and that gets honored. Maybe we do something kindly. We take kind action for one of our fellow workers, or a kind action for our boss. Because we feel compassionate for them, or we sympathize for them. Maybe they've worked really, really late and had meetings all week, and we come into work and we've bought them a chai latte or something along the way, and here you go. I wanted to take some action because I felt sorry for you. You've been working so hard this week, and I just want you to know I've seen that. Doing that could actually really benefit your worldly reputation and help you succeed. 10th house, how we succeed, what we do in the world to succeed. By taking compassionate action this week, Libra, for people in authority, and for compassionate action even for our own career, our own worldly achievements and endeavors, we can actually really do well and succeed in the world. So let's use another illustration. I've used like a common workplace scenario where that's your career and that's where your boss is and what have you. But maybe you're in a 10th house scenario that's like I am, working for myself. How would I take action with compassion? Well, I would look at my worldly desires and desires for recognition and social status and achievement, and maybe I'd have a bit of compassion for myself there. Maybe I've been busting my gut for months on end, working really, really hard, feeling like I'm getting nowhere. And so, I'm going to take action on the 1st of June to look after myself, because I have been working hard, or I have been striving to do well in the world. And maybe I need to take action to allow myself a rest. That could be the case. This is not the house of rest, but Neptune's influence might say you need a break. Take care of yourself so that you can achieve and continue to be a blessing in the world. So listen to those prompts if you're getting them, Libra, rising, sun or moon, on the 1st of June. Take action from a compassionate prompting. That's really the crux of Neptune making a trine to Mars in the 10th house. But also compromise is easy. If you need to reach a compromise regarding your worldly achievements, maybe you've thought, I wanted to achieve X, Y, and Z, and this was my goal, and I wanted it to manifest, and maybe you realizing that you're not going to come out the winner the way you thought you were with a certain product or a certain relationship with an authority figure or something. Mars is to win, and maybe you realize on the 1st of June, I can compromise. I can reach a situation where I feel comfortable that I've done the best I can. I've put myself out there. I've done all that I can, and I am happy now. I'm happy that I couldn't have done any better. I couldn't have done any more. So I compromise on that that pressure to achieve, that pressure to have a good reputation. I reach a compromise that benefits myself, but also maybe you're in a situation where you reach a compromise that is beneficial and a win-win situation for a boss, for an employer, for some sort of leader in your world. And you compromise in a way that feels good to both people. Mars, like I said, likes to win and wants to come first, but when Neptune makes a trine there, it softens Mars to sort of say, you know what, we can all walk away happy here. I don't have to stomp on others to climb the corporate ladder. I don't have to, you know, be the a-hole to just achieve in the world. Let's compromise and let's all feel good about it. So Librans, who are generally very good at that anyway, compromising and negotiating, mediating is like piece of cake to Libran people. Well, I'm just gonna point out that this might just be exemplified on the 1st of June because of Mars trine Neptune in your 10th house. All right, Virgo rising, sun or moon. The energy of Mars, the faster moving planet out of these two, Mars trine Neptune, on the 1st of June is falling in your 11th house. This is the house of where we go beyond our ego identity and we become part of something greater than ourselves, the house of community, the house of belonging. So this is where action can meet compassion, and it can be very beautiful. A house of humanitarianism. So you might find that you are inspired on the 1st of June in some humanitarian way, and you're like, you know what, I've been feeling sort of hurt and wounding for those women in Africa with the fistulas, and you know what, I'm sick of feeling the compassion and doing nothing about it. I'm going to host a morning tea for all my friends, 11th house friends, and we're going to get together, and it'll be like a donation, and we'll have morning tea, and I'll provide the morning tea, and all the money raised I'm going to send to the fistula organization in Africa. And you know, action meets compassion for a humanitarian cause here. How wonderful. Don't ignore this energy. The world needs this energy playing out through you, Virgo people. And you Virgo people are so service oriented anyway, which is really, really wonderful. How can you help? How can you heal? How can you fix? So use this energy to help the greater humanity. And, you know, it's just going to be a really beautiful way to use this energy. It will happen very easily. Action can also meet compassion with your dreams and goals. Maybe you've had a dream and goal for a long time, you've been working steadily towards it, and you realize, you know, I'm just not getting there as quick as I wanted, or it's not manifesting in the way that I hoped that it would. So you maybe have some compassion for yourself with that dream and goal, and maybe you lift the pressure off. Mars really wants to win. Mars really wants to get there and do it and be top of the mountain. But under this energy of trine to Neptune, you might actually start to feel a bit more compassion about, well, I haven't got there yet, but you know what? That's okay. I'm going to be proud of what I have accomplished. I'm going to celebrate what I have achieved. Action, celebrating, meets compassion. Even though I haven't got where I wanted to go, I'm compassionate to myself regarding my goals and dreams. So if you can manage to incorporate that energy, you will walk away from the 1st of June feeling really good about your life and about yourself. A beautiful article written, which I shared on my Facebook page, Guiding Star Facebook page, just this week just gone, by Megan Jenkins. Mwah, kisses to you, Megan, if you're watching, about how important it is for us to live. We don't have to achieve all the time. We don't have to do. We're just here to live and experience life as a divine being. And it's so beautifully worded. Do check that out. Virgo people, if you didn't see that on my Facebook page, because it was such an inspiring article, and I'm so thankful to Megan for that. But that's what this Mars trine Neptune is all about. Having compassion for our journey and not having to do, accomplish, achieve all the time. Maybe just having the compassion enough to live and enjoy who we are and belong and have friends, and just that's it. Check out that article. I think it really ties in most beautifully with the energy that you will be experiencing personally this week. So also, this is an energy of compromise, where compromise can come easily to us, and compromise with friends in the 11th house. you might be in a situation where you've been a bit tense with a friend, or you've had a disagreement or something like that. Well, under this energy on the 1st of June, compromising with that friend, making a good connection and negotiating and mediating through an issue or a problem, it can be done most beautifully and with ease and support from the universe on this day. So if you do need to sort out something with a friend, do it on the 1st of June. Also, the same goes for if you're involved in some sort of group activity or humanitarian cause, or you're part of a society or something like that, and there's a problem, there's an issue, go sort it out on the 1st of June. The universe has got your back to help it resolve and, reach a higher vibrational level. And you'll enjoy the group more. You'll enjoy that club, that organization so much better once Neptune trine to Mars has allowed you to compromise on a certain situation. Okay, Leo rising, sun or moon people, the energy of Mars trine to Neptune is falling in your 12th house. And interestingly, because Mars is the faster moving planet than Neptune in this scenario, that 12th house is where you're going to feel it the most. This is the house of our deep ancestry, not just our genetic lineage or our great-great-great-grandfathers and what have you. This is the house of our spiritual lineage, like deep past ancient ancestry. Maybe you came from another planet or another star system back in the ancient past. That would be seen through your 12th house. It's also the house of the ethereal realms and your ethereal tribe, so to speak, who are watching over you, guiding you, whispering in your ear. It's a very magical, mystical house, the 12th house. So this is where action meets compassion in this very mystical realm for Leo people. I would not be surprised to see on the 1st of June that you undertake some action that has been inspired by a compassionate message you have subconsciously received from the divine, or from your ancestral realm, or from your home planet, let's say. And I know I'm getting really kooky here, so bear with me if that's not your jam. You don't have to align with everything that I say, but that is one of the interpretations of the 12th house that I actually do align with. Action meets compassion. A message from the divine prompts you to action, and usually the message will come with a good dose of compassion for your journey as well. Compassion from the divine, compassion from the higher realms, boosting you into some action to support you. But also it can manifest quite tangibly in our physical realm as well. This is a house of compassion. We know that 12th house people, Pisces people, Neptunian people are very compassionate by nature. And so when we have Mars trine Neptune in the 12th house, we're going to be more compassionate towards our fellow man, towards humanity. We might have a visionary ideal for how good life could be here on planet Earth, and so we take action because we're prompted by this vision and this compassion for our fellow man. So you might find yourself investing perhaps in some sort of rescue fund or a compassionate charity, doing some work for a compassionate charity, or raising money for a charity. Like Mars is to take action in the 12th house of benevolence and charity work. It's also a house of escapism. So because you feel maybe that compassionate for yourself, maybe you've been stressed out lately, struggling, maybe you're feeling a tad sick perhaps, and you're like, I need a break. Well, you take compassion on yourself for your journey and you tap out of mundane, ordinary reality and you have a bit of an escape. Maybe you take a weekend getaway or a holiday somewhere, or just a day off to laze in bed and watch Netflix. Maybe your body, your soul needs that. So have compassion for yourself and your journey and allow yourself to tap out if you can arrange that. Take action, Mars, with compassion, Neptune, and tap out, have a break, have a rest, go to the day spa, get your nails done, have a massage, watch Netflix, go to the movie, do whatever it is that allows you to just tune out and relax. 12th house is very relaxed, so have some compassion on yourself and take action to do so. Now this is also a house of compromise. Sorry, it's not a house of compromise. This is an energy of easy compromise. Mars trine to Neptune. So if there's any area of your life where you have to, make a compromise, maybe, I know this sounds kooky, but maybe you need to compromise with the divine. Maybe the divine is prompting you to create a painting of some sunflowers or something. And you keep saying, look, I haven't got time. No, I'm busy with my mundane, ordinary, sixth house, everyday things. Haven't got time. Well, maybe under this energy, you're more able to compromise with the divine and say, you know what, okay, I can give you an hour every night where I'm going to paint that painting of the sunflowers. And so you set up your canvas in the corner of your kitchen, and every night for an hour, you decide you're going to paint. And you compromise with these promptings that you're getting, because this is the house of pokes from the universe, inspiration from the universe. Hey, whispers from the universe, get on with it, do a painting, do some music, write some poetry. Those promptings from the heavenly realms. And you will actually be able to maybe compromise your life and the mundane reality you're living with the promptings of spirit. That could also apply to any spiritual or mystical endeavors as well. Maybe you've been getting promptings from spirit to go hang out at an ashram or attend a wellness retreat or do some sort of spiritual meditation practice or yoga or something, or perhaps start channeling or whatever is a spiritual mystical endeavor to you. Maybe you've been getting promptings from spirit and you've been ignoring them and putting them aside and saying, I haven't got time for that, life's too busy, blah, blah, blah. Here under this beautiful energy of Neptune trine to Mars, you might actually compromise with your higher self or with the divine and say, you know what, I am going to start that meditation practice. I am going to do that yoga practice. I am going to look into that spiritual work. And you compromise your busy life with your spiritual inklings. And lo and behold, it's the best thing you've ever done. Beautiful energy of Neptune trine to Mars in the 12th house of spirituality, creativity, and even divine connection and divine healing. Listen to your promptings, Leo. They won't lead you astray now, and go with that flow. You'll be amazed at what a beautiful blessing it is to your life. So that's what I am seeing playing out for all signs this week under the lovely trinal influence of Neptune to Mars. We've got a whole week of trines ahead of us. It's going to be really quite lovely, especially following on the heels of that eclipse. So, phew, great relief. Let me close with a prayer, and then there'll be a couple of bloopers for you to enjoy. Energy of love, we thank you for the blessing that the eclipse has the potential to have been in our lives, and we just ask for more blessing to flow into this week with all these lovely trines that are unfolding. May we feel into that energy, may we embrace that energy, may we become the energy of the trines where life is a blessing and we are grateful and we are abundant. And so it is. Thanks for joining me, everybody. I'll have another Astro Weather Report for you next week. Till then, may you know love. So what might this look like? Some people might choose to break 3. So starting anything that has nothing to do with Venusian, So starting anything, you can be more productive towards dreaming. Well, let's take a peek now at one of the energies that's transpired. In the 12th house of... have a...